everybody, racers and everybody that's interested in marketing and sponsorship. I want to thank you so much for being part of the group. Of course, I'm Kate Dillon from Winning Motorsports Marketing, and I want to give a quick update. I know it's been there hasn't been a lot on this channel. And what really happened was I decided just a few months ago to be part of creating a racing trade show that just happened in December. So it took a lot of work and bandwidth to make the racing trade show happen. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do all of the other things that I normally do, including being on this channel. So I wanted to jump in here today. I know now we're at the end of December. We're about to celebrate the new year. I think we're all ready to move from 2020 into 2021. But of course, this is the time of year where we see a lot of sponsorship proposals. There's a lot of marketing questions, and I wanted to jump in here and be able to answer some of those. And now I also have a couple of tips to really impart as well. And one of those is to really get clear on what it is that you can provide to a potential sponsor. This has been a challenging year, to say the least, and far less racing. So you really couldn't rely on, hey, I'm going to be, at the racetrack so many times. So, I definitely want to answer any questions you guys have. I see Nigel's here from Australia. Loved being on Nigel's podcast this year. That was a lot of fun. And he says, thank you for this year's chat. Well, hey, Nigel, love it. I had a really great time on your show and would definitely love to be back again if you would like to invite me back as a guest, for sure. So I actually had a situation last week, and I just thought I'd tell this story so that you can kind of get a better idea and some things to think about before you call a sponsor. And so this is a person that, I've met before, so that they felt comfortable calling me, and they've probably seen some of my videos, and just knowing that sending me an email isn't just going to cut it, because I just won't respond. But, it's going to be incredibly compelling. I've actually taken this week off, so I am scared. Well, I didn't really take it off. I've been goal setting and getting wrapped up, getting 2020 wrapped up, planning for 2021. My computer, I'm not going to say it died. There must have been like a mini explosion or something, because it has been like a cascade of parts that have gone wrong. It was the power supply. Now it's the motherboard. I hope it is nothing else, and I hope to get it back tomorrow. So we'll see. But I'm talking about my main computer. Clearly, I'm on a computer now. It's my main computer. And so that's been a challenge. But anyway, back to my story. So I got a call, and they were asking me for sponsorship dollars. And, I'm kind of quizzing them. All right, so what are you going to do? And it's the whole like logos and we'll announce and, all of that stuff, right? All of that boilerplate stuff that, and then this happened to be a series. So it's a little different with a racer, and I think the very first thing that I'm going to suggest to you before you contact any company, understand what that company does and who their customers are. So in my case, I sell race car parts. You could announce my company 1,000 times in the stands, and there's unlikely to be very many people who would even potentially be my customers. And so, how will you reach my target market is the number one. Then number two is really looking at what you have to offer and how much that's really worth. So in the end, it wasn't an end. It was in the middle of conversation. And, I'm trying to give opportunity, and I try to make these teaching moments when I'm having these conversations. So, yeah, sure, it would be a lot less time if I just said, well, no, but I don't really want to go there. The person's really nice, and I want to support the sport and everything else. So this person happened to be asking for $2,500. And so I just had to break it down. And I would say do some research on research who you're reaching out to, and research kind of what margins they are. And if they get a new customer, what that really means. And let's say I actually talked to one of my students in Winning Motorsports Marketing that has, they have a heating and air person. and that heating and air person is a sponsor, and they've given them a few $100s, but that has resulted in 2, 3, or 4 clients. Well, to replace a heating and air system, I mean, you're looking at what, $3,000 to $6,000 for a heating and air system. That person has received their money back and much, much more. That is a successful sponsorship environment. So in my case, without doing any research at all on my company, clearly, understanding, but you don't really understand what the margins are in a business like mine. If I'm lucky, I've got 20% margins. I'm not a manufacturer, I'm a reseller. So I have maybe 20% margins. So if I give a company $2,500, in order for me to just make my money back, just to make it back, that company has to bring me $12,500 in new sales just to get my money back. So that's a challenge, right? And what I always recommend, and this also comes from having great conversations with like Cody Haskins from KRC. He as a racer, because he's both a manufacturer and a racer, he always said that a really good number is to try to bring 2 to 10 times the value of that sponsorship. So you want to be able to deliver that value. And in fact, I need 5 times the value just to break even. So it really needs to be that next level. So, really think about what you can provide, and then also look at what you're competing against. We do live in an entirely different world today, not just from 2020, but from 20 years ago when a lot of this sponsorship stuff happened. I always think that race car drivers were the very first influencers out there. I don't know of any other sport that has been, that sponsorship has been so intertwined with racing. There's no other sport that's really like that. We were the very first influencers, this industry was. And it's really time to step up. And now you're competing with, the influencers on Instagram. And yet we haven't, as a whole, the racing industry hasn't really kept up with the digital technology. And those are the type of tips that I really do try to offer here. And just to give you an idea, like I'm just giving you numbers because I want you to know all of the facts and the truth of what's out there. Because I know that I can spend $100 on a Facebook ad, and that $100 will translate roughly into about $3,500 in sales. So that's the return on investment that I know I can get from Facebook. Why I don't know what the ROI would be if I reached out and had magazine ads. There's a lot of other opportunities out there, but understand the value that you have to offer. And the other question, so that's ROI. So think about, before you contact a potential sponsor, think about what kind of a return that they might be looking for, thinking about their business, because you're an extension, you're basically an advertising arm of their business. Now, the second piece that I want to introduce you to is be creative and ask yourself the question, what can you do for them that they can't do for themselves? If you can answer that question, it will really truly set you apart. And the example I like to give is with any widget, right? So the manufacturer comes out, I don't care what it is. It could be the sweatshirt I'm wearing. It could be a race car part. It doesn't really matter what it is. And I do encourage us to get outside of our industry so we're not just like, just staying in our same bubble. Let's bring some other industries in. And you can name a product and it wouldn't matter. So this sweatshirt. So if the manufacturer comes out and says, hey, this sweatshirt is the best sweatshirt, it is warm and it wicks moisture and whatever, all the benefits of it. You as a consumer can sit back and go, okay, I'm listening, but okay, this is the manufacturer saying that. How does that compare to other sweatshirts? I don't really know. So maybe you type in and you do a Google search and you see several retailers that are all selling it. You've got, your Macy's and your Nordstroms and your Targets and your Walmarts, or maybe there's a blogger out there that's comparing brands. And you look at the reviews on the sweatshirt and you see that, well, from the manufacturer, from the retailer standpoint. Well, that's another opinion. But remember, the manufacturer wants to sell you the sweatshirt. The retailer wants to sell you the sweatshirt. But then there's the next level, and that's the other consumers. How many times do you read the reviews? I read a ton of reviews on products before I buy them, because I can look at the product listing and it sounds like it's like the best thing ever. But when you start looking at the consumer reviews, they're like, oh my God, their directions were terrible. or half the pieces were missing, or whatever. That's what we call user generated content. So if you could be, the manufacturer can only do so much and the retailer can only do so much for recommending products and doing sales. But you as a third party and you recommending products, there's a real possibility that from another consumer's standpoint, your opinion is more valuable to that consumer. So think about that. There is a lot of value in that, and think about how you can come in on that end of it. So I'm going to see some questions here. Joe says, hey, Kate, I'm glad to see you. You've been busy. Yeah, I've been super busy this year, you guys. So besides the trade show, we're actually sitting in my Airbnb. This is my Airbnb apartment that I decided to come over here and work for a couple of days so that I could just I love my office. I really do, but sometimes it's good just to kind of change the scenery. So I started this business, and this was already planned in January. So this was before anything else. And then a couple of my other projects this year is I have the Racing Rewind channel on YouTube. So racingrewind.com takes you over there, and it's classic races. So I've had people send me VCR tapes or DVDs or digital files, and I put them up on the internet onto the YouTube channel so that, man, I'll tell you, there's no feeling like it for me to be able to see my dad race, from back in the day. And so there are races there from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And I'd love to continue adding to that channel. I'm out of videos right now. So if anybody has any, definitely get with me. I do return them. I just need to borrow them so that I can digitize them. And, I just kind of slap an end screen and usually put a title in there so that people can know where the race is at. And that's been a very joyous thing. I've also been busy on Sundays. You can join us over on the Crate Insider Facebook page. And there I sit with Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. We show up there live at 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern on Sundays. And we answer questions about like crate engines, and generally speaking, we're drinking adult beverages. This week he brought margaritas. Yeah, I got about halfway through that, and I was not as smart 45 minutes into that show as I was when I started. So that was a little bit of fun. So that was a project, of course. And yeah, I guess that's all of them. And plus I still, of course, operate my race car parts business. I see Mikey says, and I just saw Mikey at the Cars Racing Show. He came all the way to North Carolina from Washington. So fabulous to meet him and his wife. It was fantastic. Mikey says, it's been a crazy year for me, planning big plans for 2021, and we'll be asking lots of questions. Great. I need the questions because I would love to create more content for the Winning Motorsports Marketing Facebook page, Facebook group, YouTube channel, all of that. And sometimes it can be difficult to okay, what is it people really want to know? I mean, I can give little tidbits here and there, but I'd love to dive deeper into some questions that people have. So definitely feel free, throw them out to the group too. I think we've got this group on Facebook. Of course, I'm going to repost this later to YouTube, so wherever people are watching. But we have this group here on Facebook called Winning Motorsports Marketing, and definitely I'm going to keep the conversation going. And just if you feel like posting, you're a member of this group too. It doesn't have to be just top down. I love to have a group where we're all contributing. So if you've got a question or a query, maybe you're in a situation and want some advice. I don't always know all of the right answers, but collectively we can all work together and get a lot closer to the right answers. I see Jeremiah is here, Jeremiah Reed. And Jeremiah, you're gonna have to see my office because you brought me a whole rear quarter panel from your race car. It is now on my wall. I'm really excited. In fact, I've just redone my whole office. I think I'll be doing a video in there. Because, well, I mean, I'll be real. Like when I started Crate Insider back in December, it was about this time, 2013, is when I started working on the website. I started my business with a fold in half 6-foot table, a computer, and an office chair. And I had like plastic boxes for my files. It was, talk about lean. It was lean. And now it's like decked out. I got all of this stuff everywhere. So I'm going to do a little office tour, and it'll be fun to show off Well, you're going to see it on any of my Top 5 Tuesday videos. You'll see your race car Jeremiah. You'll see it in the background of my YouTube or in my Top 5 Tuesday for Crate Insider. You'll see that when I'm back in my office. Love it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's fun. I have a whole like racing themed office and a whole lot of orange because orange is my favorite color. Well, it's the color that brings me the most energy when I'm working. So I love orange. So it's a lot of fun. And I see Chris is here and Derek is here. Race Life for Real. Derek does a lot of, check out, you guys definitely check out what Derek's doing over on his Facebook page. He does a lot of live videos and walkthroughs. I think you're doing some great content over there, Derek, and I think you're really connecting with your audience. It is this Race Life for Real, starting your own hashtag there. I love what you're doing. So I think, some folks can take a look at that. I love what so many of you guys are doing. Mikey's done videos this year, and those have been incredibly creative. Jeremiah has a YouTube channel. The Berries, I don't think they're here, but they've started a YouTube channel this year. And I'm loving seeing the success. I love seeing the progress. A video, you guys, video is where it's at right now. When I go back, so if you're just joining, I'm going to just recap. But like, what is one thing you can do for a sponsor that they can't do for themselves? So many companies, you guys, I talk to companies all the time, and they're like, man, you do all these videos. How do I get started with video? Man, I know we need to do video for a company. I know. I mean, like, it's like this. It's almost like this. Like they feel bad that they're not doing more video, but yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve, sure. I mean, but the truth is, as an individual, you can pick up your phone. I'm sitting at a laptop. For me, I don't really care. Like wherever I am and whatever device I have is what I use. So I've got back in my office, I've got a whole webcam and nice mic set up. I probably don't sound all that great here on this laptop, but you know what? I'm going to show up, and showing up, and sometimes the grittiness makes it real for sure. So I love that, just being creative, just sharing pieces of what your day to day is. And I look to doing that a lot more as well. I see Doug, he says, I'm laughing my ass off at Steve and his snail trails. I don't know what Steve's got going on now with, he must have posted something. Oh, Jeremiah looking forward to racing Bristol in a few months. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting deal there. I am, right now, I'm thinking that I'm probably going to go because I think I'm going to have a ton of customers there. I think it'll be an opportunity to connect with a lot of manufacturers. Obviously, we have to see what the world looks like. But safety, we're going to be doubling down on safety. I posted, or I don't think I've posted it yet, but I just did a video or shot a video with Matt Henderson from CBR Race Cars, and we talked a lot about safety and taking a look at all of the safety items because Bristol's going to be a whole lot faster than about any other racetrack out there in the racing world. Jason says, hey, Kate, looking for a professional service that does sponsorship proposals. I don't know if, I see him sometimes, but I haven't seen any of those that I would recommend. I guess I'm kind of always been a DIYer, so that's the kind of information that I share, is how to do it yourself. Because regardless, you still need to provide the right information. So if it's just graphics, because otherwise there's no magic. And I think really as a true, when we talk about a deck versus a marketing deck versus a proposal, like a marketing deck is just like your standard, like a media kit that just is your standard, like the information that you would share with everybody. When it's a sponsorship proposal, it really should be tailored to whoever it is that you're targeting. It really makes a big difference whether you're going local, regional, or national, the type of business it is, what you're asking for, and what you're going to provide for them. Because if it's a bigger sponsor, then there may not be the same type of offerings that you would have. So it's good. I see Nigel says, with Scorpion Racewear looking at entering the USA. Awesome. I'd love to chat over a deal package with maybe your customer somehow. Hey, Nigel, just, start talking with people right here on the Winning Motorsports Marketing Group. Feel free to drop in stuff and share it. This is an environment where we can share. I'm obviously not trying to turn in the group into just a big sales thing, like I'm not over here trying to sell race car parts. I mention it because I mention what I do because it references why I'm even here in the first place. But there's a fine line between selling and just sharing, and just maybe share with people what you're offering and what you're doing. And I think when people are looking for that opportunity, then they can have some folks to choose from. And if we think so, if it would make sense, I've seen it in other groups where maybe there's kind of like a list of folks and what they do and what services they offer. So maybe there's somebody in this group that offers professional sponsorship proposals that they create, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to do it. So it's I don't want it to sound like I don't want to, or that I don't want to help people. That's not it at all. I just know that I've got to just focus on all the things that I do and do well. So I'm not a graphic designer, but Canva is your friend. And I do have a lot of, of course, I have a whole training over on the winningmotorsportsmarketing.com website. I do have a training for sale over there on how to create your own sponsorship proposal. And in there, it even has like a whole tutorial on how to click the buttons and make it look good and everything. So that helps a lot. Let's see. Cameron says, it sounds great, and I love safety. I know Cameron loves safety because he certainly had a safety mishap at the racetrack, and that has affected him, for his whole life here. So, definitely safety is incredibly important, because like I say, actually, you can't win if you're dead. That's the reality. We're in a dangerous sport. Could kill us. And you can't win the next race if you die at the last one. So I guess that's really sad. I was trying to be super positive today, but and I am positive. I'm so positive going into 2021. When I reflect on all that's happened in 2020, it's been rough. I mean, no doubt. And I have years and years and years of positive thinking training, and it was rough on me. I had no idea. And I would just get mad at myself because I'd be like, you know what? I have zero reasons to be like depressed right now. I mean, I have all these great things that are going on in my business. And, I kind of scolded myself. But the truth is, it was just a rough year for everybody. Jeremiah says, love Canva, use it for my thumbnails and use it for my business cards. Oh my gosh, I totally agree with you, Jeremiah. We use Canva in my office like every day. We use it for all of the YouTube thumbnails, and of course I have so many YouTube channels. We use it for Facebook posts. We use it for any kind of printed materials at all. I use it for that. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, we just use it all of the time. Oh, Instagram a lot of times if I want to add words to something. Anytime you want to do pictures and words together. I mean, like I have Photoshop, but Photoshop is far more complicated. Canva is super easy, and there's templates and makes it super simple. So love Canva. Canva is definitely the way to go. And we use it. I actually do pay for the pro plan because I can remove backgrounds on pictures. That comes in so handy for taking product photos. And so that works really well for me. And I can save whole like the brand kit and my favorite fonts and everything, so we can really dial in a look there. So yeah, I didn't want to be on here for too awfully long. If you're someone who's watching this after the fact, definitely keep dropping in your questions. I will have lots more videos going into 2021. I'm probably going to start off pretty slow, maybe one every couple weeks or so. In the meantime, we can stay active in the group, and I definitely want those questions. And yeah, I'm here to help out and really try to connect and answer a lot of those questions. I want us all to be really super successful going into this coming year and for the years to come, because once you learn something, you learn it and you're good and you're done. So I want to thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being part of the group, for the part of the channel. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next time in another video. Keep dropping in those questions, because I need your help. I need your help to know what you need to know so that I can get that out there. All right. Have a happy new year, and I'll see you soon.